Should you have to present a photo ID in order to vote? A state lawmaker is pushing to add a voter ID requirement here in New Mexico. And while he calls his bill a compromise, critics say it would create more problems than it solves. News 13's Kayla Ayers reports.
Cities and states around the country have enacted voter identification legislation. It's required here in Albuquerque during city elections, and people in Hobbs recently passed a similar law there. Now Sandia Park Republican Jim Smith is pushing for statewide changes to how you vote.
Anybody that's not voting accurately, by who they say they are, that's too many. So we want to stop that.
Smith's filed a bill that would require voters to produce government-issued photo IDs with some exceptions. If you don't bring your ID, you can still vote if you give your social security number and date of birth. His proposal would change not only how you vote in person, but also by mail.
This bill covers absentee ballots as well, where you have to prove who you are in an absentee ballot. And if there is a place for voter fraud, it's more likely in the absentee or in the registration than it is in the in-person voting.
Smith backed a similar bill 4 years ago, but it didn't go anywhere. He calls this bill a compromise. Critics like Albuquerque Democrat Jacob Candelaria say, though, voter ID laws actually create a problem.
Bills like this in other states have really led to lawful voters being denied the right to vote when they show up at the polls. Any legislation that runs the risk of disenfranchising even a single person is one that I'm greatly concerned about.
Candelaria says the real issue is prosecuting people who do commit voter fraud to the fullest extent of the law. Kayla Ayers, KRQE News 13.
Now, this was a big issue in the recent Secretary of State's race. Challenger Maggie Toulouse Oliver opposed voter ID, while incumbent Diana Duran backed it. Duran narrowly won re-election, in November.